You know, in cybersecurity, we spend so much time and money building these massive digital walls. But here's the thing. What's the point of a great wall if you don't even know where the secret doors are? Today, we're diving into the art of finding those doors before the bad guys do.
So I want you to think about your company's entire digital life as a fortress, right? You've built the high walls, you've installed all the best locks, you've even got guards on patrol. But how do you really know it's secure? How can you be absolutely certain there isn't some forgotten tunnel, some tiny hidden weakness that a clever intruder could just waltz right through?
Well, that's exactly where penetration testing, or pen testing for short, comes into play. It's basically ethical hacking. You are literally hiring a professional to think like an attacker and do their absolute best to break into your own systems. The goal isn't to cause damage, of course, it's all about discovery. You find the weak spots so you can fix them before someone with bad intentions finds them for you.
Now, this might sound like a super modern, high-tech problem, but the solution, this idea of testing your own locks, has its roots in a really specialized, human-driven craft that's been around for decades. Let's take a look at where it all started. Believe it or not, the whole concept of pen testing really got its start way back in the 60s and 70s. It was born out of government and military needs, trying to stress test their brand new, super complex computer systems. And from those early days, it grew and evolved over the years into this specialized discipline, a true human-led craft. So what did that actually look like? Well, it was this amazing blend of art and science. Pen testers would use a whole arsenal of tools and custom scripts, sure, but their most powerful weapon? It was their own intuition, their human creativity. They didn't just point out theoretical problems, they'd actually exploit the vulnerabilities to prove the danger was real. And what you got at the end was this incredibly detailed battle plan showing you exactly how to fix everything. Okay, so this traditional human-led approach is incredibly valuable. There's no doubt about that. But, and this is a big but, as our digital world gets more and more complex and the threats become more constant, that old model is starting to show some pretty serious cracks.
The old way really hits four major roadblocks. First, it is expensive. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars for a single test. And because of that high cost, companies just don't do it very often, maybe once a year if they're lucky. This means you're only getting this very narrow, point-in-time snapshot of your security. And to top it all off, the quality of that snapshot can be all over the place, depending entirely on the skill of the specific person you hired.
And honestly, that's the biggest issue right there. An annual test is just a snapshot. It tells you if you were secure on that one day. But what about the other 364 days of the year? Your systems are changing, your developers are pushing new code, and you better believe attackers are working 24/7. That huge gap between tests creates this massive window of exposure where you're basically flying blind.
So with all those problems, you might be thinking, well, why don't we just find another way? Because the need to validate our defenses, to prove they actually work, hasn't just gone away. It's actually become more urgent than ever before. The stakes have gotten so much higher. The pressure today is coming from everywhere. Attackers aren't on an annual schedule. They're evolving daily. Major compliance rules like SOC 2 and HIPAA now flat out require regular testing. Your own clients and customers are demanding proof that you're secure. And here's the big one. Your cyber insurance carrier, they might just deny your claim after a breach if you can't prove you were actively testing your defenses. It's not just a good idea anymore. For many, it's a requirement to do business.
And all this means that pen testing has completely evolved past being some simple checkbox exercise. It's now a fundamental validation layer. See, it's not enough to just have a firewall or other defenses. You need real, hard proof that they actually work. Pen testing is what gives you that proof.
So how do we fix this dilemma? How do we meet this rising demand without breaking the bank? Well, the answer isn't to get rid of pen testing, it's to modernize it. And that solution is automation, which tackles the weaknesses of the traditional model head-on.
Let's just put them side by side. It becomes pretty clear pretty fast. The low frequency and high cost of manual testing, that gets replaced by a lower cost, high frequency, even continuous, automated approach. Those inconsistent, human-dependent results, they become standardized and repeatable. And that narrow, once-a-year snapshot, it becomes a broad, ongoing view of your security posture. Automation is a direct answer to the limitations of the old craft.
The advantage here is really a total shift in mindset. You're moving from these rare, infrequent checkups to constant, ongoing assessments. Instead of getting inconsistent reports from different people, you get standardized data you can actually track over time. And this means you can find and validate vulnerabilities in near real time, which completely transforms your security from a reactive annual scramble into a proactive, everyday defense. So what does this all mean for the future of testing our defenses? Well, we're really entering an era of continuous validation, a new model where the security test never, ever truly ends.
If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that pen testing isn't going away. Not by a long shot. It's evolving. The fundamental need to test our defenses is stronger than ever, but how we do it is becoming faster, smarter, and way more integrated into our day-to-day work.
And let me be perfectly clear about something. This is not about automation replacing human experts. Not at all. It's about creating this incredibly powerful new partnership. You let automation handle the high-frequency, wide-scope scanning, it's like having a guard on duty 24/7. And this frees up those highly skilled human pen testers to focus on what they do best, tackling the most complex, critical, and nuanced threats that absolutely require human creativity and intuition.
And so that leaves us with one final and I think pretty critical question. In a world where the threats are constant and evolving every single day, can a once-a-year security checkup really be enough? As we've seen, the clear answer is no. Security validation has to be just as constant as the threats themselves. Thanks for joining The Explainer.